All right, guys, here for the season one patch notes. There's a lot of things we need to get into, and a lot of things that are actually going to change the way the game is played, and a lot of really, really good updates. As for customization, I'm not going to go over that, but it's just a few little things that are just nice to haves, kind of equipping all on the battle pass, fixing little errors that they have, which I'm not sure why isn't under the bug fixes section. But the main part we want to get into is kind of the Warzone section and what's going on with Warzone. So first on the map, we have the night vision gulag. That's basically going to mean we're going to go into the gulag similar to the way Go Again and Locked and Loaded worked, and even the money bags where there's a lot of money in the gulag. It's basically going to be a chance to also get night vision, so you're going to fight with night vision mode with whatever guns they give you. And I hope that's like pretty good. I feel like it could be awkward. I feel like I don't love the night vision goggles, but it's cool. It's a cool dynamic, so I think it will be interesting. And the overall map polish is something I found interesting. I mean, this is over 200 changes they made to kind of make the game a lot more smoother, and I think this is important, right? Having the little things fixed always makes the overall game feel a lot better. And then in terms of modes, I mean, the modes are usually pretty similar to how they always are for Battle Royale. These are going to be the modes that we have. We have obviously solos, duos, trios as always, and then Resurgence. We have quads for Urzikstan, Vondel, and Ashika for solo duos. Vondel quads, which we love to see, and Ashika quads. I wonder what's going to be the most popular for quads. I don't see actually trios here, so most people will be playing quads and kind of on all of these maps. In terms of our weapon changes, these are going to be huge. I did see, or I do want to mention, there's two guns that aren't on this list that should be on this list that I wanted to see. One being the MTZ Interceptor, which has been pretty dominant recently, and then the Swarm. So the Swarm and the Striker have been kind of the main SMGs for basically the whole game now. And I wanted to see a bit of change in kind of the SMG meta, but I'm sure we'll probably get that update in the season two. So for right now, the Holger got a little bit of a buff. The M13, which I thought was pretty surprising. I'm not sure if people were actually using this or a few people did tested it and found out this gun was just absolutely insane and it needed a nerf. So we got a nerf on the M13, mostly because they want people to be using the new guns, kind of buying the new game, and that's their strategy and things like that. So they want the MW3 guns to be much better. MCW got a buff, which was definitely needed. This gun was just honestly might be the worst gun in the game. I'm very happy it got a nerf, a buff. For battle rifles, MTZ 762. MTZ 762, the battle rifle, definitely really strong. A lot of people started using it. I don't think it was meta or anything, but I do think taking it out, giving it a nerf, we're gonna have to look for the new primary meta, which is gonna be pretty interesting. For the LMGs, basically all of our LMGs got nerfed here. The Bruin, the DG, the Polymot, and the Eradicator, which is pretty important because if they only nerfed a few of them, like the Polymot and the Eradicator, which were the most popular, the Bruin and the DG were still very strong options. So if they left them up and didn't nerf them, the meta would have just shifted to more LMGs, and I think they're trying to avoid that with this update. So I think that is pretty good that they saw that coming and kind of made those changes for that. For the SMGs, the AMR got a buff, which definitely was needed. I mean, it was basically a pea shooter, so I'm really glad we got to see a pretty good buff that came to it. I'm hoping the gun is pretty good because honestly, I do enjoy it. I think the gun is pretty clean. ISO 9mm gun was absolutely disgusting. One of my favorite floor loot guns to find because it was just so good. Definitely needed a nerf. Again, they want to keep the MW3 guns as the primary guns. For the Rival 9, we have a small buff to it, or I guess two small buffs, one to the Marauder stock, but nothing crazy. Just the gun was already pretty good. I don't think they need to make more changes unless they want it to become meta. They'd give it a slight damage buff, but at its current point, I think it's pretty strong. And the Striker 9 again was pretty weak, so I do think this buff is pretty important for it overall. The Cat AMR, which is our favorite sniper because it's the only sniper in the game that one hits, is sadly being nerfed. In my opinion, I don't think this was needed. I do think snipers were annoying, but it's the only sniper that actually one hits. So I guess that's probably why they're trying to adjust it. They're trying to make it less strong, especially with nerfing a lot of the primaries. Obviously, the sniper is going to have a bigger advantage. So I think that's kind of where they're trying to take this from, rather than saying, oh, we're nerfing the cat. It's more of we're nerfing the primaries that are in the game already. So if we left the cat how it was, it might end up being just a sniper meta. So I think this is what this prevention is here. For our attachments, we have a few changes to our ammunition. Spire Point got a buff, and thankfully, we got some big, big nerfs to the Dragon Breath rounds. No one likes the Dragon Breath. No one enjoys the shotguns. No one enjoys dying to shotguns. Just get them out. For lasers, we got pretty good buffs on a lot of these, which is pretty important because I don't think the lasers were really being used, especially in the other games, I love the lasers because it's just free, basically, stats without any negatives. And I find that a lot of the other attachments are just more valuable. So I don't think these are basically worth running. So I think these buffs were pretty important to kind of make the laser category pretty important for the SMGs. And then the muzzle, the X Arcane Nightfall, which I believe is was probably one of the most popular suppressors in the game, just got nerfed. So we'll see what's going to happen with the kind of suppressor vibe and how primaries are going to play out more. Here's the big, big, big one, right? We got the Champions Quest, baby. So they just have some new mentions. I'm assuming some of the elements do different things and affect the game differently. But the main thing is to earn the Champions Quest tokens, you will need to win 30 games within a season. So you can win any 30 games in Urzikstan, and I believe you should be able to get a token for it, or you can just win 5 matches in a row. And you'll be absolutely chilling. You'll be able to get that new contract. You can only hold one at a time, which is perfectly balanced. You shouldn't be able to hold more than one at a time. That would be kind of stupid. And then they mentioned the steal mechanic, but that's not going to be right now. It's going to come in the future. Deployable buy stations, basically fixing loot so it doesn't drop underneath the deployable buy stations. Black sites, they're so far away, they're never worth it. And I don't even think they give good loot. I don't even recommend doing them, to be honest, but they're trying to give them a little bit of buff, put them in better places on the map. Zip lines, improved interact and attach abilities. This was needed. I think the zip lines were super annoying before, not being able to just grab onto them quickly in a lot of different situations. You have to wait, stand still, jump, hit square. Like it was just like you needed to actually be trying to hit it, where it should be more of like, oh, I'm just gonna jump on this real quick and use it to my advantage. Whereas like you couldn't really do that. So, tracker grenade, small fix, underwater rebreather. I don't see this enough. They need to make this more common, to be honest. I think the rebreather has a cool idea and it's pretty interesting, but you just never see it. Vehicle respawn, I do think is going to change the game a good bit because now if a car blows up, that car is going to respawn really late in the game, and that now provides you with a new way to rotate. And having different ways to rotate throughout the game can be pretty impactful and really change the way the game is played. So we'll definitely have to see. Convert, exfil, and weapon case updates. Stay tuned for further details on this and the weapon case. So this is currently not being pushed in this update, which a lot of people did think was coming out. EOD, the changes on EOD, a little bit of a nerf. I'm not sure if this was needed. Maybe it was just a little too OP, so they wanted to tone it down a little bit. And Quick Fix is finally doing what it's supposed to do after its second fix, I'm pretty sure. So finally, Quick Fix might be able to compete with Tempered in that third perk slot. For kill streaks, we have an increase in warning for the bomb drone, which is honestly needed. Bomb drone is absolutely annoying, super, super stupid, to be honest, in my opinion. And I guess it's always going to be in pubs. People probably enjoy using it. And yeah, that's just what we're going to have to deal with. Improvements to altitude arrows, which is just kind of a nice to have. Audio is really big here, so we wanted to see audio changes. Audio has been very, very bad in the game, and I'm assuming improvements have been made to audio oscillation in Urzikstan means that we'll have better audio overall. Reducing the volume of our teammates is pretty important so we can know if there's an enemy rather than teammates there. Music channels and plain audio, just nice fixes, but I don't even use the music channels, and plain audio I usually have muted anyways, which I recommend if you're not. And then a lot of these bug fixes are pretty big. That are nice to haves, but you might not have even run into a lot of these, but they are happening, right? From bomb drones not appearing on the map, different things like gulag tokens not giving you cash, which they're supposed to after the gulag closes and you have your gulag still, you're supposed to get some cash to give you a little bit of benefit of actually keeping that gulag, and not dying or finding an extra token and keeping it before the gulag ends up being used. Fixing something about the vehicles not respawning, different little things, a lot of different fixes, but this update overall has been pretty big and I'm really happy to see it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. And I'll always keep you guys up to date with the latest updates, what I think about the update and how the game's going to play out. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.